Hello there, film buffs. Straight Shooter here. And, huh? What's that? Oh, sorry. I'll turn the switch back on. Hey guys, Straight Shooter here, coming from Team Sound Studios. Welcome to another episode of How I See It. And little tease in the beginning for you because today I'm doing a spoiler red band review of The Invisible Man. We're in interesting times in this country right now. This virus has affected everything. Things are closing down. I managed to get to the theater and see Invisible Man before they announced that all the theaters are basically shutting down in LA. Here's my review. I have one more after this. So, Invisible Man is a remake of a horror movie. And this is another horror movie, but it's kind of more of a thriller. It stars Elizabeth Moss, and I don't think I know any of the other actors. The synopsis basically is there's this guy that this woman is in a relationship with. He's very abusive. She gets away from him, runs away. He dies, or they think he dies. And all of a sudden he shows up like he's haunting her from the afterlife. She finds out that because he's an optics engineer and he knows how to manipulate lights and do all that kind of stuff, he made himself a suit that can make him look invisible. So he really was the Invisible Man. So he is trying to get her to be with him. He manages to get her pregnant without her knowing. His brother is actually in on it and advises her to have the baby with him, go back to him, and all this stuff. Turns out he was helping his brother because at the end, she catches him in her house and the person in the suit, and she kills him, and she pulls the suit off him, and it turns out to be his brother. So she sets up a meeting with him, goes back to the house where he was, and he was there, tricks him into confessing on video to everything that he did, or tries to anyway, but he stays tight-lipped because he's not going to give himself up. So she puts on the invisible suit herself, kills him, makes it look like he killed himself on video. And her friend, that's a cop, says, well, it looks like the guy killed himself to me. So she wins in the end. He's dead, his brother's dead, and she's probably going to have an abortion, get rid of the baby, and all that stuff. So the movie, it could have been really bad. It could have just been like, a really cheesy remake. And because they got a producer that is in cahoots with James Wan, they actually had a decent script, they had decent production, and they managed to make the movie not just your typical slasher genre horror movie, but it was suspenseful. It was a thriller. It was very effective because there were times when there were some jump scares, but there were scenes that were generally creepy. Like she's in the attic. She was looking for this phone that she was calling, and she heard it vibrating in the attic. And you see this shot where she's looking down from the attic down the ladder that she walked up. And she gets this feeling that he's there. So she grabs the bucket of paint, pours it, and sees him doused. And that moment right there was like, It was good because it kept your interest. Like, you kept wanting to see, like, where they're going to take the story, what they're going to reveal about the guy, the killer, and how it all came to play where he was still with them after he was dead, supposedly. Well, he faked his own death. His brother helped him. Since then, he was trying to get back with the girl, and everything that he did was in trying to make that happen. So he was obsessive, jealous, possessive with anything in his life. He even had this dog that desperately wanted to get away, and she took pity on the dog let the dog escape, and it ended up back there somehow. But now that the guy's dead, his name was Adrian in the movie. Don't know the name of the actor, unfortunately. But the dog was free. She was free. And then the police wrapped the case as a suicide. And that was it. And it was a pretty thrilling conclusion, because in all her terror and her fear of this guy, she kind of like snapped and said, I had enough. I'm going to get back at him. And that's what she did at the end. She killed him for all the shit that he did to her. It was an interesting movie, and I'm glad that they did their own take instead of just like doing, a shot-for-shot remake, or made like a cheesy script just to put it out or whatever. So how I see it, I'm going to give the movie a B+. It was enjoyable. It's probably the only thing worth seeing out in theaters right now, maybe except for The Hunt, which I didn't get to see, but I'm hearing good things. So hopefully I'll get to see that one once the theaters open back up. Getting back to that, so we're in crazy times, this coronavirus, everything's closing down, you can't get anywhere at night. By some miracle, I managed to get to the studio today to shoot reviews, but I don't know when's the next time I'm going to be able to get to a theater to see a new movie. So it might be a little while, just so you know, but stay tuned because I got a Netflix movie coming up for you. See you in a bit.